We all know LeBron James is one of the top basketball players in the world, but he's also one of the richest athletes in the world in general, inside or outside of basketball. Of course, LeBron has been around the game at the professional level for almost a couple of decades and has been one of the top players in the league the entire time, so it's not hard to see why he's earned so much. There just aren't many other players that provide the same thing as LeBron. And for that reason, LeBron is in the list of the highest paid athletes year after year. But what does LeBron do with all the money? Well, in this video, we'll take a dive into how LeBron James spends his millions. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money, and LeBron spends his on his own business interests. You can only play professional sports for so long, and the smart players figure out what they want to do after their time in the league is up. So far, it doesn't look like there's any sign of LeBron going away in the next couple of seasons, but it's a good idea regardless to plan ahead. And LeBron has definitely taken the advice to plan ahead because he already has his hands in several business interests. One of the most notable of these is Spring Hill Entertainment, which is owned by LeBron and his business partner Maverick Carter. The two founded the company back in 2007, which just goes to show how long LeBron has been thinking of business opportunities outside the game of basketball. The company hasn't just sat around idle since it was founded. Its owners have put it to good use and have produced 4 films so far, with the new Space Jam movie that's set for release next year being the 5th to come out of the studio. They've done more when it comes to TV content and have worked with NBC, Starz, HBO, and other big names in the area. It's even said that the production company may have been one of the reasons for LeBron to move to the Los Angeles Lakers. Aside from another shot at a title run, one of the best motivators for LeBron to make the move to LA is the existing Hollywood setup that exists there. But it's debatable whether or not the production company is an expense for LeBron or not. While it would have certainly cost money to found initially, the company has been around for long enough and worked on enough projects that LeBron is likely making money from it these days, especially now that the company is involved in big-name projects like Space Jam. Movies aren't the only business LeBron has invested into. A lot of the players in the NBA have some level of interest in fashion, but LeBron took this further with making his own brand, not tied to the branded apparel that Nike already produces as a part of his endorsement deal with them. This brand, Unknown, is a bit less mainstream and sells designer apparel. Also, James made another big investment when the brand opened its first retail location in the Wynwood neighborhood of Miami. The store is about 10,000 square feet and has a pretty modern design that fits nicely with the surrounding area. Interestingly enough, one of the lesser-known investments LeBron has is in the world of sports, just not basketball. He received shares for 2% of Liverpool FC in 2011, and that's paid off pretty well with Liverpool ending a long title drought and winning the English Premier League this season. His stake was worth about $6.5 million when he first received the shares. Now, the rise in value for the club has seen that investment's value increase to about $43.6 million. Next is staying in peak shape for the NBA. One of the major expenses for LeBron every year is his health. He's been around the league for a long time, and one of the reasons he's been relevant in all of those years is his attention to taking care of his body. There's a pretty big difference in longevity between players that commit to taking care of their body all the time and those that don't. And LeBron is pretty clearly in the camp of players that made it a #1 priority. It's so important that, according to Maverick Carter, LeBron is willing to spend $1.5 million per year just to stay in peak form. What can one basketball player buy for $1.5 million to help stay fit? Well, it turns out there's a lot you can get for that amount, and some of it sounds like technology straight out of the future. LeBron takes advantage of things such as cryotherapy, as well as the more obscure hyperbaric chamber, a device that uses ambient pressure and helps with a number of medical conditions. It can also help those that aren't fighting with a specific condition but just want to stay in top shape. But sometimes the best methods are the ones that have been tried and tested for ages. LeBron adheres to more traditional fitness practices in addition to the more experimental stuff. One of those methods of staying fit is dieting, and LeBron has multiple personal chefs to help with adhering to that tough diet. Also, in addition to dieting, LeBron has personal trainers to help with his regular exercise and workouts. Of course, next up is a top-tier car collection. A fast car is a sign of wealth anywhere in the world, and it's for this reason that a lot of athletes are quick to get new cars after getting into the league. LeBron, he's no exception and has added a lot of cars to his collection over the years. Today, LeBron has a collection that was estimated to be worth $450 million by Forbes back in 2018. Some of the top car brands in the world, such as Ferrari, Bentley, and Chevrolet, are represented in LeBron's collection. Also, LeBron has customized his cars. His Dodge Challenger was supposedly recolored to have the blue and white of the NFL team that James is a fan of, the Dallas Cowboys. Also, it was reported that LeBron spent almost $700,000 to get a customized Lamborghini Aventador, which has a design that matches one of his Nike sneakers. It seems like a lot of the price went into customizations because the regular base price of $460,000 is actually significantly lower than the price LeBron paid. The habit of LeBron buying cars isn't one that started recently. Back during his first stint in Cleveland, LeBron had a Maybach 57S with a pretty amusing license plate that read King of OH. It's safe to say the fans back home in Cleveland weren't very cool with calling LeBron the king of their state after he left for Miami, but everything turned out just fine once it was all said and done. LeBron did manage to bring a title back to Cleveland after all. After LeBron left a second time, however, it might not be the best time to bring back the King of Ohio license plate. On that note, it's also worth mentioning that LeBron and Dwayne Wade have matching black and white Porsches. Unfortunately, we probably won't see both Porsches in the street of Miami now that Wade is retired and LeBron left the Heat to return to the Cavs. Next is giving back to the city of Akron. It's well known that LeBron James is from Akron, Ohio. In fact, James might be the most famous person to come out of Akron, at least in recent memory. It's also a known fact that Akron isn't the best place to grow up for everyone. LeBron has said himself that everything is earned and nothing is given in Northeast Ohio, and his own upbringing in the area has influenced some of his choices later on after becoming a big name in the NBA. One of those decisions influenced by LeBron's background is putting his own resources into starting a school in Akron to help disadvantaged students. The school is called the I Promise School, and it opened back in late July of 2018. The school is based on the larger I Promise initiative, which LeBron decided to start after doing research on the dropout rate in Akron. It's an elementary school right now, but there's plans to expand it through grade 8 by 2022. Also, the results of the school have been pretty successful so far, as the school took in students with low grades and helped them improve significantly during their first year. Next are investments with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The NBA has seen lots of its famous players work with other celebrities in one way or another, and LeBron has some business interests with the famous Arnold Schwarzenegger. James and Schwarzenegger are part of a group that invested in Georgetown Company, a real estate company based in New York City. They also invested in Bill Ackman's office building in Hell's Kitchen, though the worth of these investments has not been disclosed. Then, he's also been known for buying cars for other people. We already know that LeBron has bought some nice cars for himself, but he's also bought them for other important people in his life. Back in 2014, LeBron surprised his mom on her birthday with a new white Porsche that was quickly shown off on Instagram. A couple of years later, and James gifted another expensive car, but this time it was a gift to his wife. His 2016 Instagram post revealed that James bought his wife a white Ferrari Testarossa, which is a throwback to the 80s and will cost anyone trying to get one more than $100,000. Well, that's not huge money for LeBron, though, as his salary and endorsement deals continue to make him one of the highest paid players in the world year after year. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you've learned something about just where LeBron spends the millions that he makes each year.